August 1st! It's GarbAugust! I have to see what Criminale left for me under the garbage bin. Wow! Media tie-ins and novelizations! My favorite! Thanks, Criminale!
What the hell was that?
Hey folks, it's Nick from another BookTube channel. As you can tell from that introduction, it's GarbAugust. This is the month where booktubers across the world are celebrating trashy literature. This event was started by Criminale. I think the first year he did it was last year. This year, I'm very happy to join as a co-host, along with a bunch of other really great booktubers. We call ourselves the GarbAugust Allied Group, or GAG, and we are Gaggers for participating. And if you participate, you're also a Gagger, so congratulations. But I've already done a video explaining the high level of what this month is, what constitutes a trashy book, and so on, as well as the theme weeks. And the purpose of this video is to give a little bit of a spotlight to a specific theme. A bunch of the other Gaggers are also doing videos like this to talk about men's adventure or genre romance. I wanted to talk about novelizations and tie-in books because it's I guess the genre that I'm most comfortable with or most familiar with. So if you wanted to participate and you're not sure, like, what is a novelization, what counts as a tie-in, I'm hoping this video helps you figure that out. So starting off at the top, what is a novelization? Well, we all know that sometimes books become movies. They get adapted into movies. That's not what this is. A novelization is a movie that becomes a book. It's either after the fact, after it becomes popular, or a lot of the times it would be while the movie was in production, a writer would be contracted to write a novelization of it, adapt the script, the working script, into a written, just a prose novel to release simultaneously with the movie, or maybe even a little bit before the movie. So some examples of this: Alien by Alan Dean Foster. This is a really famous one. I've actually never read this one before, and I'm planning to read it in GarbAugust. I'm pretty confident that I'll get to it. I've wanted to read this one for a really long time because I love Alien, and I've read the Alien comic adaptation that Walt Simonson did. Not only did I read it, I have an entire video where I go through it page by page. So I recommend checking that out because it's really fun. But I haven't read this novel, and I believe it's supposed to be really great because this isn't a secondhand book. This isn't a book from the 70s that I picked up on eBay or at a used bookshop. This is a new printing that I bought off of the shelves of Barnes & Noble earlier this month, and it wasn't the only copy. So for this book to still be in bookstores, still being reprinted, it must be really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to it. Another novelization example would be The Omen by David Seltzer. This one I read a few years back, and I will die on this hill forever. This novelization is better than the movie starring Gregory Peck. Hands down. That movie, it's got its place in film history. I totally get it. But as a movie today, watching it now in 2023, it is dated. It doesn't hold up very well in terms of scares. It's an okay movie. This novel, though, I think completely still works from a 2023 audience member point of view. I loved this book when I first read it. I don't know if I'm going to get to reread it in this GarbAugust, but I'll probably reread it soon just because it's been a while. And while I'm talking about that, I mean, I talked pretty highly about those books being good. I just want to reiterate that just because these are considered trashy, it's not an indicator of their quality. The reason that this category is considered trashy is because these are cash-ins. They could be good cash-ins, but they exist to make money off of an IP's name. The Alien book was written because they thought that the Alien movie was going to be a hit, or it was a hit, and so they adapted it to get more money out of it. So when a book is made to basically be a cash grab, that puts it into trashy territory, even if the result is really, really good. Now, sometimes you get a tie-in. That's different from novelizations. The novelization is a direct adaptation from screen to page. A tie-in doesn't do a direct adaptation. It just expands on the IP in some way. It's basically like an extended universe or extended canon, depending on which property it is. I have a Buffy the Vampire Slayer novel here as an example of this. So this is Return to Chaos. I believe this is the second Buffy novel. This is from 1998. This story takes place between seasons 2 and 3. I'm almost done with it. I'm really enjoying it. I'll have a full video about it during GarbAugust. But this would be considered a tie-in because if you watch the Buffy TV show, which you should because it's great, the what happens in this book doesn't ever come up in the show. Like it's not. So I don't even know if this would really be considered canon. It's maybe more fan fiction, where it's just taking the characters and the scenarios that you know and love and making an extra story that you can read if you like, but you don't really need to understand the full picture. So that's that. This would be a media tie-in book. There are also other types of adaptations that can be used as an example here, where it's not page to screen, it's kind of medium to medium. So I've got these Marvel novel series 4 and 5. These are paperbacks from the 70s, where I guess Stan Lee saw that paperback fiction was having a big boom, and he said, let's get in on that. Let's get some of our writers to write prose novels featuring Captain America or the Fantastic Four. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if these are any good. This one's written by Marv Wolfman, who is a very good comic writer. I've never read any of his prose. This one is Joseph Silva, which I believe is a pseudonym for, I think it's Ronald Goulart or something Goulart, who was a paperback kind of trashy writer of the time period. So this, even though it's not a novelization, and it's not really an adaptation, and it's not really a tie-in, it is cashing in on an IP by novelizing it, if that makes any sense. So those are my examples. Oh, you know what? I have one more cool example. I mentioned comics briefly. Where is it? Here it is. I mentioned comics briefly. Comic adaptations would work the same way, where I talked about the Alien one before. That's, I guess, technically trash because it's an adaptation, even though it's fantastic. But this Star Wars book, Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, it looks like a paperback novel. What it actually is a reprinting of the Marvel graphic novel that was released, I think, a little bit before The Empire Strikes Back even came out. Art by Al Williamson, which is really fantastic. This is a really cool, neat book. It's weird to see comics in this format. So this is pretty cheap. If you want there's copies to be had on eBay. I recommend checking that out. But that would also definitely be counted as trashy novelization or tie-in, something like that. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you participate in GarbAugust. Let me know if there were some really good novelizations that you recommend for me based on my taste on the rest of the channel. If you've seen my other videos, I want to get further into this world. I plan on getting the Swamp Thing movie novelization at some point because I kind of have to. But yeah, leave me your recommendations in the comments. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. But now it's time to get back to reading.